Here's another story from Sword of the Samurai by Eric Kimmel. This one is called Tomoe Gozen. Not all warriors were men. One of the most famous was a woman. Her name was Tomoe Gozen. As a little girl, Tomoe Gozen refused to learn the arts considered proper for a woman of her rank. She did not want to arrange flowers or practice playing music on the koto or biwa. She wanted to become a samurai like her father and brothers. One day, Tomoe sneaked out of the house and ran to the dojo, where her brothers practiced the martial arts under the supervision of their sensei. "Teach me too," Tomoe demanded. "It is not proper for girls to study swordsmanship. Go back to your mother," the sensei told her. "I won't. Not unless you promise to teach me something." "Very well. Join your brothers. Do what they do." The boys were practicing kata, a series of strenuous exercises. The sensei thought Tomoe would grow tired and go away. Instead, she persisted. When she practiced bare-handed fighting with the boys, she did not cry when she was knocked down. She got up, bowed to her opponent, and continued striking and kicking. The sensei noted that she scored some excellent points against boys who were bigger and far more experienced than she was. When practice came to an end, Tomoe asked the sensei, "Well, did I prove myself worthy? May I come back?" "I will have to speak to your father," the sensei replied. "My daughter wants to study the martial arts?" Tomoe Gozen's father asked in disbelief when the sensei told him how she had come to the dojo. "It is not as far-fetched as you think," the sensei explained. "She is a descendant of a long line of samurai. The blood of warriors flows in her veins. Remember, in times past, the women of our clan fought valiantly beside the men. Your daughter is following her ancient heritage. If you forbid her to study, she will become angry and bitter. Let her practice with the boys as long as she wishes. I do not mind having her in the dojo. She is a good student who works very hard. She sets a fine example for the others. The boys must do their best if they hope to keep up with her." Tomoe's father allowed her to continue studying with the sensei. By the time Tomoe Gozen was old enough to marry, she had mastered all the martial arts. She accompanied her father and brothers on military campaigns. Here she proved her skill again and again, riding into battle with reckless courage and striking down many renowned samurai. Tomoe married her cousin Minamoto no Yoshinaka, a famous hero. She fought at his side against their family's enemies, the Taira clan. Tomoe's brother, Imai Kunihira, fought with them. Yoshinaka defeated the Taira in many hard-fought battles. In one famous encounter, he drove the enemy into a narrow valley where they were ambushed by hidden soldiers. 70,000 Taira samurai lost their lives. The victorious Minamoto warriors hailed Yoshinaka and his wife, Tomoe Gozen, who had fought beside him. Not all were pleased by the victory. Minamoto no Yorimoto, the clan's leader, became jealous of his cousin Yoshinaka. He decided to get rid of the brave young hero before he became too powerful to overthrow. Yoritomo ordered his two brothers to attack Yoshinaka. The two Minamoto armies fought a bloody battle on the banks of the Uji River. Tomoe and her brother led charge after charge against their treacherous cousins. As the battle raged, an enemy general named Uchida Ayayoshi attempted to capture Tomoe. He grasped the sleeve of her robe and tried to pull her off her horse. Tomoe galloped off, leaving her sleeve in Ayayoshi's hand. Ayayoshi waved it like a banner for all to see. "Look, I have beaten Tomoe Gozen. See what I have taken from her." Tomoe heard his boastful cry. Outraged, she charged at Ayayoshi, dragging him from his horse and cutting off his head. She galloped along the battle line, holding the head high and crying, "Look, I have beaten Uchida Ayayoshi. See what I have taken from him." Yet, all of Tomoe's courage could not change the battle's outcome. Yoshinaka's forces were outnumbered. No matter how many enemy soldiers they killed, more arrived to take their place. By the end of the day, it was clear the battle was lost. Yoshinaka's followers began to retreat, but Yoshinaka continued fighting. Tomoe Gozen and Imai Kunihira fought beside him. Their armor was feathered with arrows. They bled from many wounds, but they would not surrender or retreat. Soon, the brave trio were the only ones left of their army. The rest had all been captured or killed. The battle was lost. Minamoto Yoshinaka said to Imai Kunihira, "It is too late to escape. We are surrounded. If we are captured, we will be tortured and put to death as traitors. Better for us to take our own lives and die with dignity." Tomoe Gozen looked at her husband and brother for the last time. "I am not ready to give up. I will make my stand by the riverbank. Go quickly. I will hold off the enemy to give you time to end your lives honorably." Tomoe Gozen hurled herself at Yoritomo's forces as her husband and brother swam their horses across the river. They did not get far. Yoshinaka's horse became mired in quicksand. As the brave samurai struggled to get free, an arrow struck him in the face. 2 enemy soldiers dragged the wounded leader from his horse and cut off his head. Imai Kunihira vowed not to be taken alive. He put the point of his sword in his mouth and leaped from the saddle. His sword was driven through his brain and he died. Still fighting, Tomoe Gozen heard the enemy begin to cheer. She looked across the river and saw soldiers carrying the heads of her husband and brother on spears. The enemy closed around her. But Tomoe would not be taken captive. She spurred her horse and charged through the battle line, striking down enemy samurai left and right. No one dared pursue her. She galloped over a ridge and disappeared. Tomoe Gozen was never seen again. Minamoto no Yoritomo and his brothers said that she had been badly wounded in battle and probably crawled into a cave somewhere to die. Nobody believed them. If someone had seriously wounded Tomoe, he would have bragged about it. No one did. It is possible that she committed seppuku, the ritual suicide ceremony by which defeated or disgraced samurai ended their lives. It is more likely, however, that she hung up her sword forever. Disgusted by her cousin's treachery, she withdrew from a world where people like Minamoto no Yoritomo ruled. And so, some believe, she became a Buddhist nun, spending the rest of her life doing good deeds studying holy texts, and offering prayers every day for the souls of her husband.